Welcome to Thursday. Busy day on the Cultaholic YouTube channel, breaking down an incredible night of wrestling. NXT Great American Bash graded with you and I later today. AEW Fyter Fest Night 2 graded. Sam Driver looking after things for Jack the Jobber today. And Ross will be here with the AEW TF moments from Night 2 of Fyter Fest as well. But for now, it is me and you and some headlines. Matt Riddle denies allegations stemming from the Speaking Out movement. AEW debuts a historical title belt at Fyter Fest, and we have an update on EC3's next appearance. We'll get to that in a bit. Yesterday, Matt Riddle tweeted out a video discussing some of the allegations made against him recently. Now, these allegations stem from the Speaking Out movement last month. Matt Riddle addresses allegations made against him by Candy Cartwright. Now, in the video, Matt opens up to say that he actually cheated on his wife with the accuser, Candy Cartwright. They had an affair, but he says he came clean about the affair to his wife and broke things off. It says he blocked her on social media and changed his phone number. He says the allegations made by her are, quote, a complete lie, fabricated story. Riddle, as we say, eventually told his wife about the affair, blocked Candy Cartwright on social media. He claims in the video that Candy Cartwright would continue to reach out and she would show up at hotels and ask friends of Matt Riddle where she could find him. Riddle in the video says, "I never sexually abused or assaulted anyone." That video is on Matt Riddle's Twitter right now, and when we have more details on this, we will let you know via cultaholic.com. And you can follow some of the stories and some of the changes that are coming into the wrestling industry as a result of the Speaking Out movement by following the hashtag Speaking Out on Twitter. So it was last night at Fyter Fest that Taz brought out this black sack, and inside it contained a piece of wrestling history as Taz unveiled to the world for the first time since, I think, 1999, the FTW Championship. Last night, Taz took out the belt, cut a great promo where he talked about how this belt was the body of his wrestling work. It was his blood, sweat, and tears. And he said that Brian Cage would no longer be an uncrowned champion, and awarded Brian Cage the FTW Championship. Now, long-suffering wrestling fans will know what the FTW Championship is all about, and you probably would have done a little punch of the air when that nostalgia pang hit you yesterday. But for those who don't, the FTW title came about originally, weirdly, in a similar way to we saw last night. So it was back in the late 90s when Taz wanted a shot at Shane Douglas's ECW title, and Shane Douglas was very injured and, in storyline world, reluctant to defend the ECW World title against Taz. So Taz unveiled in a similar way in Queens, New York, back in the day in '98, a black bag, and inside the black bag contained the FTW Championship, that stands for F the World. Not for the win, like I thought it did. I don't know how that would have made any sense either. And this was a belt that Taz carried with him to basically saying, look, I'm no longer an uncrowned world champion. Only one other person held that belt, and it was Sabu. Sabu, just before Christmas in 1998, won the belt after Taz draped a lifeless Sabu over him to give him the belt, because Taz was going on to challenge for the ECW title finally in '99, so he just wanted the belt gone and gave it to Sabu. Sabu started duct taping his name over the belt and he carried it around everywhere, and then Taz would win it back the following year and to unify it with the ECW World title, and then we'd never see it again. But there it is last night, and again, a similar pattern to how the FTW belt was born before. I kind of think they could have held off on this. Maybe wait until after the Moxley Cage match, maybe have that match end in some shenanigans, and then you could do the whole Brian Cage is an uncrowned world champion, now you have this, now you go forward. We'll see how this plays out. I enjoyed the nostalgia from seeing the FTW title back on television. Staying with AEW, Diamante, former member of LAX as part of Impact Wrestling, has blasted the women's division. Now, the women's division in AEW has had its critiques and had its setbacks over the last year of the company's existence. So the feeling generally is that the women in the AEW locker room don't get the right share of time in ring. Diamante echoes this on Twitter last night following Nyla Rose's handicap squash at Fyter Fest Night 2. Says, how nice of AEW to give those women, what, like 5 minutes maybe? So you're not reading nor care what people want. They want more. Put me in that ring and I will give more. This mouth only writes checks, this ass can cash. So let's get it then, tagging Kenny Omega in there as well. So I'd be fine to see Diamante mixing it up. I mean, there are some green shoots coming through in terms of the development of the women's division in AEW. Unfortunate that Dr. Britt Baker and Chris Statlander, two of those near the top of that, or at the top of that, both injured right now. Britt Baker still very much a part of television. We've seen Big Swole doing some good stuff lately. Penelope Ford, or Penelope if you're Booker T, certainly on the way up as well. There's certainly some good stuff happening there, and of course Hikaru Shida has been a strong champion so far, a very present champion so far. So there is good stuff to come, and there is an argument to say that they could do a little bit more. Stu Bennett, the artist formerly known as Wade Barrett, is in conversation with 411 Mania about NXT UK. And if you think he's got nice things to say about WWE on his green and pleasant land, I'm afraid I've got some brash opinions of Stu's to share with you. Bennett says, I wouldn't say that NXT UK has helped the UK scene. I would say it's helped the wrestlers who have been signed, but outside of that, I don't think it's been beneficial. You'd have to look at the effect it's had on some of the companies or some of the independents who were thriving prior. So I don't think it's been beneficial to the scene at all. I understand why WWE have done it. They want to have a stakehold there. It was not coincidental that NXT UK was brought out at the same time that WOS, World of Sport, was out as well. It wasn't coincidental, however. It's being portrayed by them that it is, and I think we all know the truth behind that. It's not, that's just business. I understand why they did it, but to portray it as beneficial to the UK, as something benevolent, is ludicrous. And as good as the product might be, it's certainly not something that has helped the UK independent scene. It's been a really tough time for NXT UK. Not done a show since March, and then the speaking out movement has very much changed the shape of British wrestling, and rightly so, by the way. So when, if and when NXT UK get properly back up and running, I'll be intrigued to see what happens next. But I don't think Stu Bennett is going to be involved in any way, shape or form somehow. We're not getting WWE 2K21 this year. Good, because 2K20 was, let's all call a spade, a bit garbage. But we are getting a wrestling game in September, a 2K Battlegrounds. There's a press release that went out yesterday with a few more details about the game. We are getting it on the 18th of September for the PS4, the Xbox, the PC. It'll be on Steam, on the Switch, and on Google Stadia as well. They've given a few features of the game, as well as like standard one-on-ones, multi-mans, online, local multiplayer, and all this stuff. There's a campaign mode where you join 7 new WWE hopefuls created exclusively for 2K Battlegrounds, and you compete to earn a WWE contract. You'll unlock new arenas as you go. Arenas inspired by the Everglades, Scotland, New York, Mexico. I believe there's a boot camp in there as well. There's a King of the Battleground mode where, from what we can glean, starts with 4 people in the ring with 4 outside of it, and when people are eliminated, more people enter. It's just sort of like a jacked up Royal Rumble, essentially. Create a Wrestler will be in there. Create an Arena will be in there as well. The roster size apparently is going to be over 70 by the end of it all, with additional wrestlers being added via DLC along the way. So far confirmed, Roman Reigns, Drew McIntyre, Charlotte Flair, Becky Lynch, Asuka, Daniel Bryan, Kofi Kingston, Randy Orton, and then legends Andre the Giant, Undertaker, Mankind, Shawn Michaels, Yokozuna, Sergeant Slaughter, Steve Austin and The Rock, and Edge. Ronda Rousey will be in the game as well. There's loads more others coming. And it's going to have commentary by Mauro Ranallo and Jerry the King Lawler. If you need people to just do soundbite commentary, I think Ranallo is a good shout for that. King will be fine as well. The game's available to pre-order. It's going to be $39.99. But the standard edition gets you Edge as a gift. For an extra £10, you can get the the deluxe edition, you get Edge, Austin, The Rock, Rousey. You get money to spend in the game as well. So that's all happening this year. In terms of like, I'm happy they're not doing another simulation game. I was very disheartened by last year. This feels like a little palate cleanser type affair for us. If you are seeking out a new wrestling simulation game, Retromania is out this month. If you loved WrestleFest in the past, if you're an old boy like me, you're gonna love Retromania. Or you just play Battlegrounds and throw John Cena into the mouth of a crocodile, because that's a thing. And finally, EC3 was on Facebook Live having a chat about all sorts of things, and he was asked by a fan whether he was going to be the mystery man in the Fatal 4-Way for the Impact World Championship at Slammiversary. EC3 responded enigmatically by saying, "July 18th is a great day for a fight. I will fight July 18th. He also said that Slammiversary should be a good show. Been very casual on that one. He says, "I'm going to go wherever my heart takes me. Wherever a fight arises that I need to fight him." So EC3 is not said outright that he's going to be a part of Slammiversary, but he's going to have a fight on the 18th of July. He is one of roughly, I think, 7,000 people who have been teased to debut or return at Slammiversary this year. I think wherever EC3 goes, he will be an asset. I'm very sad the way that his WWE run went down and just how little he was used. I feel like he's got a lot to offer the wrestling industry, and I think a return to Impact would be quite nice, be quite fitting, back to where Derek Bateman rebuilt his career from the ground up. It's kind of nice to go back, be a nice little homecoming that. But we'll see. I mean, he might not get through the door at this rate. There's going to be about 400 people trying to get through to Slammiversary to try and debut. It's going to be a very busy night next weekend, isn't it? Stay safe. Love you, bye.